Today in Northern Revolutions, I'm going to show you even more record pickups from the month of May, so stay tuned. Hey, violent community, welcome back to Northern Revolutions. I'm Rob. I know a couple weeks ago I did a video for my record finds for the month of May. Well, in the last week of May, I got a bunch more stuff. And it's really cool stuff. So I'm going to do a part two because I think you might be interested in some of the things that I picked up. So here we go. I'm going to start and work backwards. And I know this is actually in the month of June. This is the 4th or 5th of June today. But I was at a local record show today. More like a local record swap meet. Was pretty disappointing. But I managed to pick up a bunch of $5 records or whatever. And I think some of them were kind of neat. So I'll show you what I got there. The first thing I picked up was Ringo. Everyone knows I'm a big Beatles fan. I can't believe that in the almost 30 years I've been collecting records, I've never owned this album. It's a great album. Its claim to fame is, it's Ringo's solo album from '73, so just 3 years after the Beatles broke up. Every member of the Beatles appears on this. Paul wrote stuff for this. John wrote stuff for this. George wrote stuff for this. They all played on this. This is as close as there ever was to a Beatles reunion until you get to the 2 songs they did for the anthologies. The other thing that's cool about this is the band is on here, with the exception of Richard Manuel. The rest of the band is on here. I'm a huge fan of the band. So it's a great record. I picked it up for, $5. The next one I picked up, I don't have a lot of greatest hits, but I picked up the best of Bachman Turner Overdrive. I love Randy Bachman. I've seen him in concert several times. I don't know that I like enough BTO to bother getting a bunch of their albums. So when I saw this best of for, it's like $2 or whatever, no brainer. The next one is a band I've wanted to get into for a while. This is the Flying Burrito Brothers. Yes, it's not their big one, which was called, I don't remember what it's called. This was their album, their self-titled album from 1970, I don't know what, 2, I think. Flying Burrito Brothers were a country rock band, and I like that genre. What I like about it, this guy here, that's Bernie Leadon, who would go on to be the Eagles lead guitar player for the first, I think, 3 albums, till he was sort of phased out in favor of Joe Walsh and Don Felder. But I got this. It's absolutely mint. It was still in the shrink. It's not in the shrink anymore. Because I'd kind of hoped that this would be sort of Eagle-esque, sort of that country rock, more rock. This is a little more country and a little less rock, but nevertheless still an enjoyable record. I'm still going to look out for their other big album, which again, the name escapes me at the moment. An album I bought, which kind of a strange one, Klaatu. This is their album that's called, I think it's just called Klaatu. This is a prog rock trio from Canada. I didn't buy them because it was Canadian, although I do have a lot of Canadian stuff. In a nutshell, these guys left it purposely ambiguous who they were, and there was rumors running rampant at the time that this came out in '76 that this was the secretly reunited Beatles, because there's one song on here, Sub Rosa Speedway, which sounds a lot like the Beatles. The rest of the album doesn't. It's still a great record, but I bought it because I wanted to hear, what everyone was talking about. It was the Beatles. Obviously, that's been, debunked as soon as that myth came out, but that's this album's claim to fame. So, interesting record. Kind of glad I own it. I showed some Guess Who a little while ago. I've sort of reignited my admiration for this band. So again, this was in the cheap bin. Picked it up today. Rockin' the Guess Who. This came out in, I think, late 70s. This is after Randy Bachman's departure. The lead guitar player is Kurt Winter. A couple of big hits on here: Heartbroken Bopper and Guns, Guns, Guns. I think those are the only ones. Like any Guess Who record, enjoyable as hell. And my last find from the record show today, Huey Lewis in the News, Sports. I don't think this needs any explanation. It's a great record, heart of rock and roll. Great 80s rock. Okay, now on to the interesting stuff. Regular viewers of my channel might remember that on many occasions I've talked about a band from Toronto that I love called Whitehorse. It's husband and wife, Luke Doucette and Melissa McClelland. They are incredibly talented singer-songwriter musicians. They've released 7 or 8 albums now that span the gamut from sort of adult contemporary to roots rock to folk rock to indie rock to psychedelic. I need to do a whole video on Whitehorse because they're that amazing. But what I want to show is their record label, Six Shooter Records in Toronto, one of my favorite labels, had a record store day sale where they were selling test pressings. And I bought 2 test pressings. So the first one I bought is this one. So this is the test pressing for Whitehorse's album Panther in the Dollhouse. This is number 404. It's just a plain, there's not even anything on the label. But there's only 4 of these in existence. The album itself looks like this, Panther in the Dollhouse. Wonderful record. I think it's probably the most rock of the Whitehorse records. There's a song in here called Nighthawks, which is just awesome. Luke is an incredible electric guitar player, plays a Gretsch White Falcon. That's kind of his signature. Amazing album. So I was thrilled to get one of the test pressings of this record. The other Whitehorse test pressing that I picked up is from their album Leave No Bridge Unburned, which came out in 2015, and this is copy number 3 of 9. This has a little bit on the inner sleeve here. You can see it has some of the test pressing information. I love this record. This is what it actually looks like. This is not the version most people will see, though. They did a very limited Kickstarter version of the album, so they crowdfunded this, even though they had a label. I don't understand why. But nevertheless, I got in on the Kickstarter. So this is different than the standard version, because inside the gatefold, on a normal version, it's blank. This one gives their stories of all the songs, plus it's signed by Luke. It's signed by Melissa. So it's cool that I have one of the incredibly rare Kickstarter versions, and now I have a test pressing of this record as well. Great record. I'm going to show 2 CDs. I don't buy a lot of CDs, but I got 2 that I think are kind of neat. The first one I bought was this here. This is U2's Joshua Tree. This is, I guess it's the 30th anniversary. This came out in 2017. It's white, obviously. The regular version of the album is black. It's 2 discs. I mean, it's a standard version of the album. And then it has the Joshua Tree live at Madison Square Gardens, 28th of September, 1987. So you got a full live show in here. So that's kind of cool. I love live performances. So the Joshua Tree 30th anniversary. I didn't even know this existed. I'm a huge U2 fan. Hadn't seen this before, so I grabbed it. And the other CD is on the Holy Grail list, I think. It's the only CD that's on the Holy Grail list. Grace Potter's Original Soul. I know that I've got some regular viewers out there that love Grace Potter and the Nocturnals as much as I do. This is Grace's absolutely impossible to find solo album from 2004. This was before the Nocturnals were formed, even though Matt Burr, the drummer, and Scott Tornay, the guitar player from the Nocturnals, are all over this record. This was Grace's self-produced, self-manufactured debut album. These are stupidly rare. They regularly sell in excess of $100 on eBay on the rare occasions that they come up. I got one. So I'm absolutely thrilled. I've had a digital copy of this forever, but I wanted a physical copy because I have everything else she's ever put out. So was absolutely thrilled to finally find Grace Potter's Original Soul. Great record. Little different than Grace Potter and the Nocturnals. You can see how this would evolve into that, but this is sort of a little more jazzier, I guess is the way to put it. But it's still a blues rock, but jazzy blues rock, I guess. And now for the granddaddy, the big one. Yep, I got the Smashing Pumpkins, Mellon, Collie, and Infinite Sadness. I bought this on the secondary market for more than it sold for off the Pumpkins website, but not substantially more when I factor in, you know, if I bought it off the Pumpkins website, shipping and duties and exchange. I bought it from a buyer here in Canada. Shipping was included. I didn't have to pay duties and all that kind of stuff. So it worked out pretty well. Was thrilled to have this. This was a pivotal record for my teenage years. And have wanted to get this on vinyl for a while. So when it was repressed last month and sold out in minutes, I thought, I'm not going to get one. Well, I stumbled across one. So obviously I didn't leave it sealed because I play all my records. Beautiful box. It's all sort of embossed and textured. There's the image on the back, the spine. And what's in here, I will show you. This was basically what was in the CD version of the book, of the album back in the day. It's literally just, it's all the song lyrics. The nice thing though is this book. This is kind of a an oral history of the album. There's that, you know, essays about the album, pictures of the band. Billy Corrigan relates his stories about all the songs and what they mean or the story behind them. So it's kind of a making of the album. And then there are four discs in here. Disc 1, Disc 2, Disc 3, and Disc 4. And then in each one of these, there's the record in a rice paper lined sleeve. And then there is actually a paper sleeve as well that the record's not in. That's as close as I'm going to come to doing an unboxing. I've played it. It sounds great. I'm not an audiophile, obviously, as everybody knows, but to my ears, it sounds fantastic. And it's great after 30 years to finally have this album on vinyl. So I know a lot of other people are looking. If you find one at a reasonable price, grab it. It is absolutely worth it. So there you go, folks. There's my part 2 of the records that I grabbed for the month of May. What a month it was. Hope you enjoyed that. I'll see everybody again real soon. Catch you on the flip side. Bye.